It's a big one this Sunday. There's no question about it. As much as Bears fans love to overhype this rivalry that hasn't been a rivalry for decades, the reality is this game coming up on Sunday is massive. Period. So this should actually, for a change, feel like a rivalry game. It's Bears, it's Packers, and a lot of you are looking forward to Bears football on Sunday. So let's dive into this one, shall we? This Week 14 matchup. For the Chicago Bears, we're sitting at this point in time in the season, and up to a couple of weeks ago, the common criticism about this team was they're not beating good teams, that they're kind of a fluke, and this and that, and it's 100% valid. Now, you could say they're playing the teams that are on the schedule and they're beating the teams that are on their schedule, but they were feasting on a last place schedule. And even then, feasting is probably an incredibly strong term with how many close last second cardiac finishes against crappy teams they had to pull off. But they were doing it. And then the last 2 weeks happened. They beat the Steelers in another cardiac style finish, granted without Aaron Rodgers at quarterback for Pittsburgh, but they still beat a team with a winning record at the time. And then last Friday, Black Friday, they go on the road and they dominate the Eagles 24-15. And frankly, I don't think the score is indicative of just how much the Bears dominated that game. That's not homer talk, that's reality. Like, they kicked the Eagles' ass. So we sit here now, after the past couple of weeks, the Bears, after starting 0-2, are 9-1 since then. They're 9-3, sitting atop the NFC North. And in addition, because of the Rams' loss to the Panthers last Sunday, they're the current leaders for the top seed in the NFC playoff picture. That's wild. This same Bears team that a year ago couldn't get a playoff at the end of the game on Thanksgiving or call a timeout, this same organization is now the top seed through 12 games in the NFC playoff picture. How much one season can change everything, how much a coaching change can change everything. And there's no doubt last week the defense was aided with the returns of Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon to their secondary. This is a Bears team that's dealt with a number of injuries. Now, those are excuses, in my opinion, but there's no doubt, like, those are two higher-end players for the Bears, and they've been without them for a period of time. That's going to impact your defense some, and naturally it's going to have to. So those guys came back, and their secondary was solid last week. The offense, after last week, now has 3 games this year where they've went over 220 yards rushing, and they were just pounding it down the frickin' Eagles' throats with Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift. It was impressive to watch. Very old school. It was the first time since 1985 the Bears had 2 100-yard rushers in the same game. In terms of the theme for the season, Caleb Williams is protecting the ball, taking far fewer sacks than he did last year, showing the ability at times to be better about going through his progressions, being patient, playing within structure. But one big thing about the protecting the ball, perhaps it's easier to avoid turnovers when you airmail everyone consistently week over week. Like, his accuracy has been bad. He's had like a 58% completion percentage. And you're going to have Bears fans that come in the comments, certainly, and are going to defend that. There just is no defense. It sucks. It's unacceptable, and it has to get better. It just has to. And what's scary to think about is with this Bears team, they're doing this. They're 9-3 with a quarterback that sometimes can't hit the blind side of a barn. Imagine if he could. And mind you, it's not like they're playing dominant defense. So even when we talk about Bears football, they're not playing stellar special teams and stellar defense to carry them. They're finding different ways to win. But now the Bears, atop the NFC North, on this hot streak, the top team in the NFC playoff picture. They come into this game with the target backs. It's going to be a much different perspective. It's going to be a much different vibe and feel to this game for this team. And if they take heart in anything, is that last year they played the Packers really well. And were a blocked field goal away from winning it the first game against the Packers with Matt Eberflus as the fucking head coach. And then at the end of the season, they win the last game of the year over the Packers with a Cairo Santos field goal to win it with Thomas Brown as the interim head coach. So all this talk about Matt LaFleur and how great of a head coach he is. The fucking dude almost lost to the shitty Bears team twice last year, and one of them with Matt Eberflus as the fucking head coach. Get the fuck out of here. So where you have this kind of vibe about the Bears over the past several decades have sucked against the Packers because they have. You come into this one and you say, at least last year, with bad coaching situation and a rookie quarterback, they beat the Packers once and almost beat them a second time. So that's got to give you some confidence heading into Sunday, and it should. Granted, different team, different season, but this is also a 9-3 Bears team with a vastly superior head coach. So there's that. Meanwhile, for the Packers, this is a team that had a lot of expectations, certainly some Super Bowl buzz heading into the season, in large part because of the big trade they made to go get Micah Parsons. They started off strong the first couple of weeks of the season against Detroit and then Washington, and hit a pretty long, sustained stretch of largely uninspired, unimpressive ball. Losing to the Panthers, losing to the Browns, tying the Cowboys, squeaking by the Bengals and the Cardinals. They've played some pretty bad football, but the last 2 weeks, the Packers seem to have righted themselves a little bit and figured it out a little bit more, got into a better flow. They won easily over the Vikings, and then they had a strong performance on Thanksgiving Day against the Lions on the road. Big win for them, and they come into this one now sitting at 8-3-1, second in the NFC North, and at this moment have to feel pretty good about their position. If you told most fan bases and most teams that after 12 games you'd be 8-3-1, you take it. So not a lot for the Packers to complain about, even with that long stretch of where they really didn't play that good. They're still 8-3-1. One thing about their offense, you'll hear a lot about Jordan Love and criticism of him, the Packers passing game. But this is the best offense right now in the NFL, the Packers, at converting on third downs. They're 49.3% at that. Their passing game, it's actually better statistically than I think it's given credit for. They're 23rd in passing attempts, which means they're not a high-volume passing team, but they're 13th in yards, so they do pick up a lot of yards. So they're efficient with it. Meanwhile, they run the ball a lot and are not as efficient with it. They're 5th in the league in rushing attempts, 16th in rushing yards. But at times, you do watch this team this year and you see a Jordan Love-led offense that really struggles to move the ball. But fundamentally, ultimately, defense is the strength of this team. They're 6th in points allowed, 4th in total yards allowed. Micah Parsons has been every bit as advertised and expected with 12.5 sacks, causing all types of havoc and destruction. This is a good defensive unit. This is the type of defense that you can win a championship with. Hence all the preseason buzz about them. And they're already sitting there now with 2 victories over the Detroit Lions this year, a victory over the Vikings. They're at 3-0 in the NFC North. If they win this one, the Cheeseheads, this would be huge for them. To be 4-0 into the division, coming out of this one 9-3-1, they'd have to feel really good about their chances come January, maybe even February. Now, the Vegas money on this one right now has the Packers as 6.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 44.5. This is one of these situations where you say, piss out of the Eagles. The Packers a few weeks ago, did they lose to the Eagles? How are they 6.5-point favorites? Granted, it's at home. There's a lot of things you could say there. It's not surprised that the Packers are favored. The spread is a little surprising. The over-under on this one is 44.5. And I could kind of see that, but I could also see this being a really low-scoring game. In terms of injury report, heading into this one, Tyreek Stevenson and Rome Odunze are out for the Bears. Rome is a surprise with the foot injury. So that's a bummer. Tremaine Edmonds is still out, obviously, from that linebacking core. Looks like TJ Edwards and Noah Sewell should be good to go. For Green Bay, Savion Williams and Devontae Wyatt are out. Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden are questionable. If they get Jaden Reed back for this one, that certainly would be a boost to that offense and that passing game because he realistically is their top target, and especially for a team that just recently lost Tucker Kraft for the year to the ACL injury. They could use Jaden Reed's explosiveness and big playability in that passing game. In terms of keys of victory for this one for Chicago, it starts with forcing turnovers. In their 9 wins this year, the Bears have forced 25 turnovers. In their 3 losses, they've forced 1. They've got to turn the Packers over. They've got to get Jordan Love to throw up a couple of bad passes, maybe cause a fumble. Bottom line is, key to the Bears' success this year is with their defense in terms of being able to turn the ball over, because they're not a great unit in terms of slowing you down or completely stopping you. That's not the type of talent or team that you have on defense right now for the Bears. But they can make big plays happen. And they need those big plays if they got a shot here. Offensively, they have to be able to run the ball effectively against a pretty good Packers run defense. That's the strength of this Bears offense right now. It's Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift in combination running between the tackles. If the Packers can slow down the Bears running game on Sunday, it's going to be a long day for Chicago. If they can't, you better bet your sweet ass the Bears have a real shot to win this one. But another big help is Caleb Williams needing to be on target in the passing game. You're already without Rome, so you're going to be having, you would hope, a bigger dose of Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. That means Zacchaeus and Komet are probably going to get involved in the passing game, but no matter who it is, Caleb's got to be on point. He's got to be on target like he really hasn't been this year. Meanwhile, for the Packers, protect the ball. Don't turn the ball over. This is not the type of defense that this year has forced a ton of turnovers. So offensively, don't give the Bears easy opportunities to score. Don't give them momentum. Make them earn it the hard way, the long way. Offensively in the passing game, attack the middle of the field. The Bears' linebacking core is depleted and it stinks. Go after them. Target it consistently. Make them show that they can stop you. And then defensively, their front has to win the trench battle. Parsons has to be a force. Gary has to have an impact. They've got to be able to win that trench battle against a Bears offensive line that has been playing pretty well lately and been a big key to success for Chicago in this recent 9-1 stretch. In terms of my overall thoughts on this one, cynically, historically, I would say, well, it's Bears-Packers, so of course the Packers are going to win. But then you look at last year and you say the Bears really could have won both of those and did win one of them, and that was with a worse team and much shittier coaching. And much better coaching and a better team now. It's absolutely in the realm of possibilities that the Bears can win this game. But I worry a little bit now for a team like the Bears. They've been getting a lot of momentum. They're really hot. They're finding all these ways to win. But they're also running up against a team like the Packers that has a history this year of finding different ways to win and playing it close to the vest. And the Bears are going up against a pretty damn good defense here on Sunday. I think Green Bay will just have a little bit too much for them in this one. Have a lot of momentum coming off of the past couple weeks and how they played against the Vikings and the Lions. So I think the Packers are going to win 20-17.